So, he's what's your name? Mr. Dhruv is asking about sticky. Mr. Dhruv is asking about sticky things which exist in port secure. Not other kind of sticky things, man. Okay. Now, sticky means when I am saying to a port, stick. Stick means learn the current MAC address from the table. Clear? Just think like this is a port. This is computer A. MAC address is A. MAC address A will be learned. Now always keep one thing in mind. As soon as you will run sticky command for this port, all MAC addresses will be deleted from the MAC address table. Now, whenever A will request, he will send the traffic. A will be learned, and what switch will do? Switch will stick A MAC address for port security. This thing is clear? So as soon as you enable sticky for a port, all MAC addresses will be deleted, and from now onwards the first MAC address that will be learned on the port will stick to the port security. This thing is clear? Now next thing, first topic for today is, actually my topic is IP services. First of all I will complete this topic IP services, then I will move to ACH. So guys, about DHCP I will dig too much into it. Fine. But this time I will just discuss with you people how DHCP will work on routers. Fine. This thing is clear? Fine. You can also create DHCP on layer 3 switches. Fine. That thing we will discuss in CCNA. Fine. Okay. What will be the difference? Now I will tell you. Like this will be the difference. This is my router. This is my switch. We have the users here. So first of all, what is DHCP? DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. See, there are only two ways to assign IP address to a host. How many ways? For you people, for your knowledge, there are how many ways? One is, other is. What will be the problem with the static way? Okay, Sagar is right that if we want to configure static IP addresses in a large network, it will be difficult. Okay, any more problems? How it will be difficult? What difficulties we have to face? Yeah, he's again right that we have to move on to the computers to do all the configuration related to IP address. Yes or no? Yes. Second problem. what this thing is doing, this thing is just overloading the load on the network administrator, that he has to manually assign IP addresses to the users. He has to keep a track of every IP address he is assigning. He is responsible for duplicacy. This thing is clear. Second way is dynamically. It means what I will do, I will be having a device in my network who will be responsible for allocating IP address to all the users. Now this time who will check duplicacy? Device. Second thing, who will keep the database? Device. And who has to assign the IP addresses? It means my all work is doing that device. I just have to do is configure that device. Agree? And I have to configure on my computers that you have to take IP address from the device. This thing is clear? Now, in CCNA, we will study about, like we have a DHCP server on this router and we have a DHCP server on this router. First case is how this router will assign IP addresses to the users. Second case will be how this router will assign IP addresses to these. In first case, DHCP server belong to my but in second case it does not belong to my local network. हाँ भाई प्रदीप, क्या नाम है इस भाई का? अरे इसका हाँ आतिश बाजी. In CCNP, what we will study? This is about CCNA. In CCNP, we have a layer 3 switch. We have again a layer 3 switch. We have users connected here in VLAN 20. Here we have VLAN 30. My DHCP server is located in VLAN 30, and this DHCP server want to assign users IP address to the users of VLAN 20. How we will do this thing? This thing will also use the same concept, but some things will be different. To understand this thing, we have to understand the functionality of layer 3 switches. Clear, guys? Any problem? So this thing we will be doing in fine. So let us start with DHCP. I just told you what is DHCP and why we use it. To assign IP address to the users dynamically, we use, okay. What is the full form of DHCP? Read it like this: protocol that configures host dynamically. उल्टा पढ़ लो इसको. Protocol that configures host dynamically. That protocol is DHCP. Clear? Next thing. DHCP works on a process called DORA, stands for discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Now guys, let me explain this thing by a story. When I was in college, I was not a intelligent guy or punctual guy. I always went to class or exams late. So one day what happened, that I was having an exam. I think it was D. You know D? Digital electronics. Fine. It was, I think, my third sem or fourth sem. So I went for the exam. There was a proctor, or you can say the one who is giving duty in the exam. Fine. So there was a proctor. So I was about half an hour late. So she was like, I will not allow you to give the exam. And I was like, please. I was bragging in front of her that please allow me, please allow me. And at the end, she allowed me. So when I sat on my seat, what happened? I realized that it does not uses TCP. If it will be using TCP, then I will be having an entry that when I have sent the request, source port number was this and destination was this. As I am receiving the reply, I can calculate that yes, this is the destination port number. Okay, this is this session that I have created. In TCP, session is created actually, and in UDP, no session is created. So all the protocols which work on UDP and are having server and client model will be having how many port numbers? 2. One for server, one for client. Because in UDP no session is created. In case of TCP, session is created. This thing is fine. Now, हाँ जी, DNS में सर्वर क्लाइंट मॉडल यूज होता है. मैं अपनी सोर्स आईपी होती है मेरे पास. आई वॉज हैविंग आईपी एंड आई वॉज सेंडिंग अ रिक्वेस्ट टू द सर्वर एंड ही इज रिप्लाइंग मी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ आईपी. इन दिस केस आई डोंट हैव अ आईपी. आई एम आस्किंग फॉर अ आईपी. दिस थिंग इज क्लियर. नाउ source port will be 68, destination will be 67. Remember this thing. Source will be, destination will be fine. Now let's say this is a user, this is a switch, it's a router, one more user, MAC address A, MAC address B, MAC address C. Now this router is acting as a guys. If I want to drink some water from the bottle, what is the first thing? Fuck you. There must be some water present in the bottle. Only then you can drink. If there is no water in the bottle, why you will open it? Agree or not? So first thing is फर्स्ट थिंग इज बोतल में कुछ पानी होना चाहिए. How you will speak this thing in Telugu? That there must be some water in the bottle. Water bottle undale. Bottle lo water undale. Bottle lo water undale. Fine? You got it? What I want. Bottle lo water undale. I am saying right? Okay. Okay, now this is a router. This router has to offer IPs to the users, yes or no? It means it must have a pool of from where the router will offer the IP addresses. If the router is not having pool of IP addresses, router cannot offer. Router cannot. This thing is clear. So first thing, this user will send a discover message. This user will send a okay. What will be the discover message? What will be the content in the DHCP discover message? DHCP is which layer protocol? At layer 7, layer 6, layer 5. After that, source port will be, destination will be, which protocol we will be using? After that, what will be the source IP? Source IP will be 0.0.0. Every time a user will send a discover packet, source IP will be. What will be the destination IP? 255.255.255. It is a broadcast address. And by default, keep this thing in mind, router will never forward broadcast. Router कभी भी broadcast को forward by default. Router can forward broadcast, but that thing will, you can say, if router is sending broadcast in your network will be fucked. Every user is generating ARP. ARP will be received by. Okay, that is not a layer 3 broadcast. Okay, take it like this. R1, R2, R3. Any user is here generating a broadcast for his broadcast ID, that will be received by router. If router will broadcast it, it will be received by R2 and it will be received by every other user in the network, which is not good. Which is not. So router will never forward broadcast. Now, source MAC, B, destination MAC, all F, all. This thing is clear. After that, there will be a physical interface number and its type. Type will always be Ethernet. Type will always be. Now, this user will send a discover packet to the switch. Switch will check which layer information? Layer 2. Clear? Now, switch will check destination MAC addresses, all F. Destination MAC addresses, received by router. Now router is sending back the offer. Router is sending back the offer at layer 3. Still, look here, R3 switch user B. Fine. User has sent it at discover. In first case, layer 3 address was destination broadcast. Layer 2 address was also broadcast. This was the case of discover. Now the case of offer. When he will reply, source IP will be interface IP assigned to route this interface of router. Let's say it is 10.0.0. 10.0.0. Destination IP will again be. This thing is fine. It means offer at layer 3 is also broadcast, but at layer 2 it is unicast, because source MAC will be learned. This thing is clear. This time source MAC will be of router and destination will be of B. This thing is clear. Now request. When computer will again send, it will again be broadcast at layer 3 also and at layer 2 also, because till now IP address is not assigned to the user. User don't know about its gateway. User don't know about the DHCP server. After getting the acknowledgement, user will start using those IP addresses. Which IP addresses? Its own IP address, its own subnet mask, its own gateway, and it will make an entry. User will make an entry that my server is router. After getting the confirmation, it means after getting the acknowledgement. After request we have acknowledgement. In acknowledgement, layer 3 acknowledgement is also always, but at layer 2 it is unicast. So in some books you will find it as processes DORA, all things are broadcast, but in some books you will find it as. So please don't get confused. Here he is writing from perspective of layer. From here he is writing from perspective of layer 2. This thing is clear. This is the normal case in which DHCP server is located in my local network. What will happen if DHCP server is located in a remote network? Okay. जो पहले साइन हो चुकी है वो थोड़ा ना जो साइन करना चाहता है उसके लिए यार मेरे को पता होता है कि मैंने कौन सी आईपीएस किसी को असाइन कर दी है और मुझे पता होता है कि फ्री कौन सी है। तो एक फ्री आईपी के लिए मैं क्या जनरेट करता हूं पहले आर, क्योंकि जो मैंने असाइन कर दी है वो तो स्टैटिकली असाइन नहीं है। हाँ, सारा डेटाबेस भी कौन रखेगा अपने पास? डीएचसीपी सर्वर। बिल्कुल यार, स्टैटिकली असाइन करी वो क्या जनरेट करेगा? आर तुम क्या कर दोगे उसके लिए? रिप्लाई, उसे पता चल जाएगा कि तुमने क्या रखी है वो आईपी स्टैटिकली असाइन, वो उस आईपी को कभी भी असाइन नहीं करेगा। मतलब अब आपने एक और केस बनाया कि डीएचसीपी ने इसको एक आईपी असाइन की थी, अब इसने खुद को एक स्टैटिक आईपी दे दी, वही सेम आईपी, तो मेरे हिसाब से डीएचसीपी डेटाबेस में वो आईपी पड़ी रहेगी जब तक उसका टाइम क्या नहीं हो जाता, एक्सपायर। ठीक है जी। वरना एक चीज और होती है यार, याद रखना हमेशा, अगर इसको सेम आईपी इसने खुद को मैनुअली असाइन कर ली तो डीएचसीपी सर्वर के पास अगर ये ग्रेशियस आर खुद भी जनरेट करता है, व्हाट विल हैपन whenever a user will get a IP address, he will itself generate a gracious R for that IP to check that I am the only one who is using this IP or there is someone else also. तो सर्वर के पास गई रिक्वेस्ट, सेम एक एड्रेस से तो आई रिक्वेस्ट, तो सर्वर को कभी पता नहीं चलेगा। वैसे ऐसा होगा नहीं कभी। If I am assigning IP address to the users using DHCP, I will never give them privilege to assign them IP addresses manually. This thing is clear? I will log that particular thing, that they will never be able to assign IP addresses to their computers manually. Second case, A, B, C, D. This time R2 is my. Always keep one thing in mind, connectivity is must. Connectivity is must. That this network must be able to reach this network and R2 must be able to reach this network. Now, this time user will send a discover message. मैंने तो बंद ही नहीं करवाया. अरे ठीक है, मैं तो भूल गया वो बात. भाई चला दे भाई एसी, भाई गर्मी लग रही है. Any problem? No. This thing is clear? So this is how DHCP works when DHCP exists in another network. Fine. R1 कन्वर्ट कर देगा ब्रॉडकास्ट को किसमें? यूनिकास्ट में. भाई तुमने एक डेस्टिनेशन आईपी प्रोवाइड की ना सी, तो मैं बताऊंगा ना R1 को दैट DHCP सर्वर इज एक्चुअली, यू आर नॉट द एक्चुअली द DHCP सर्वर. हु इज द DHCP सर्वर? R2। भाई कन्वर्ट कराने का ही तो प्रोसेस है। दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड DHCP रिले एजेंट। DHCP, दिस थिंग इज क्लियर। GNS पे कर ले प्रैक्टिकल, कोई इशू? आप कैसे करोगे प्रैक्टिकल? हाउ यू पीपल विल डू? यू विल ऑल्सो डू इट इन GNS, ठीक है जी। मैंने अब तक पैकेट ट्रेसर पे कोई प्रैक्टिकल कराया कल वाले छोड़ के? स्टैटिक राउटिंग भी नहीं कराई थी शायद, क्या करवाई थी? हाँ जी, अपने राउटर पे कॉन्फ़िगर कर सकते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है। देखियो यार, कॉन्फ़िगर करने के लिए किसी भी डिवाइस को, इफ़ यू वांट टू कॉन्फ़िगर एनी डिवाइस फ्रॉम रिमोटली, व्हाट यू नीड इज connectivity and access to that device. You can configure any fucking thing on that device. Not really. So in first case I will configure R1 as, in second case I will configure, and R3 and R4 are my, I will write no IP. Any problem? Fine. Clear. Any problem? Okay. वीकेंड अच्छा जाएगा, चिंता मत करो। Visible to all of you? That's good. Okay, let's say I have an IP address on the interface as, fine. Now what I have to do is I will create a DHCP pool. IP DHCP pool. Pool name स्विमिंग। कूद मत जाना इसमें, सर पे राउटर लगेगा। स्विमिंग। फर्स्ट कमांड इज नेटवर्क। फर्स्ट कमांड इज network is defining here the pool you are creating. Like I am creating the pool 192.168 1 dot. This is my pool. Second command is default router. Default router means what gateway you want to assign to the user. What gateway I want to assign? IP of router. You can also assign, let's say I am assigning DNS same as my DHCP server. Any problem? Any issues? No. Clear? This thing is fine. I have created a pool. Now what I will do, I will capture this link. to 168 1 dot. He is offering me this IP address. Clear? Now, request 6867. I am sending a request. Okay, DHCP server, provide me this IP. I will be using this requested IP address 1.2. Now DHCP server will give me acknowledgement. Yes. Yes, you can use this IP. You can use this IP. Any issues? As DHCP server is providing me a IP, DHCP server will create a binding also. Show IP DHCP that I have assigned 1.2 to which user? This user. Who is this? What is this? See, whenever user will send its DHCP discover packet, the DHCP server will generate a client ID. Will generate a client ID will depend on three things. First is the client ID sent by user, the MAC address and the username. This thing is clear. And what is that type? The user has defined the IP address automatically. This thing is clear. Any problem? No. Next thing. Let's come on client. On R3, show I am getting the IP address. My IP address is 1.2. Clear? Now, show IP route. My gateway is 1.1. This thing is clear? Next thing. Now, from R1, I will remove the DHCP server. No IP. DHCP pool. Still he is having a IP because this IP is assigned for a particular amount of time. After this time only he will release the IP. So command will be release interface IP addresses list. Show IP interface. Go on. Now this time I will configure .0.0. I will run EIGRP for reachability. Router EIGRP. Network. Okay, on R1 we have not assigned IP address to FA1/0. Done. Adjacency done. This thing is clear. Now, on R2 we have to create a pool. IP DHCP with the name network 192.168 1. Default network, DNS server, any. It's my wish. Fine. Now, on R1 I have to do one more configuration. Which is the interface which will receive discover packet? So here on this interface I have to run a command IP, and I have to assign IP address of DHCP server. What is the IP address? 12.0.0.2. This thing is clear now. As my user, I will shut the interface and no shut it again. Why I am doing this? That this user will again send a DHCP discover. I got the IP. I got the IP. You can check. Show IP DHCP. Sorry. I got the IP from which server? R2. How you will check? This thing is clear? This time who is assigning the IP address? R2. Fine. So I have already explained the process. So if you have any issues, you can ask. Fine. कर सकते हो ऐसे. Command is exclude. You can do this thing. हाँ तो बाकी दे देगा ना. हाँ तो एक्सक्लूड कर देना. Router will never assign these particular IP addresses which you have excluded. बिल्कुल exclude चलाना पड़ेगा आपको बार बार. You can run any number of exclude commands you want to run. एक्सेस कंट्रोल. सॉरी यार, ACL से पहले एक टॉपिक IP सर्विसेज, उसकी इंट्रोडक्शन देनी है. Guys, what we people usually think that our network diagram is like this. Fine. We have this topology is always in my mind. But just tell me one thing, if this link fails, my network will be down. How user will be able to access the, okay, let's say this is internet and this is your topology. If this link will be down, network will be down. No one can access internet. So what someone did, instead of connecting one gateway, how many gateways he have now? How many gateways? 2 gateways. This is ISP. Fine. Now, tell me one thing. On this user, how many gateways you can define? On this user? Okay, let's say on these 2 users you define gateway as 1. On these 2 users you define gateway as 2. Now, their traffic will go from? Their traffic will go from 2. Yeah. As a gateway, one router will act as active and other will act as standby.